And so the first clip is going to be shown in the second quarter versus the game against Dallas. It was 33-24 at this point. So we're going to bring this clip up. And we've got KJ Simpson bringing the ball up the court, taking it up the right sideline. This is pistol action, or Brian probably refers to it more as 21. It basically is a three-man game here. I know for whatever reason, NBA TV's video is like worse than ESPN. Like, I don't know if it's like stretched out or whatever. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not the best quality. But as you can see in this video, you've got KJ Simpson, you've got Ryan Kalkbrenner, the big, and the wing here who's receiving the pass is Kon Knueppel. Now, this setup early in the shot clock is just a way to get into the offense for Charlotte or for whoever is using 21. And if they can score off it quickly, that's better. It's very common within the NBA to kind of get this offense going with pistol action. Now, plenty of variations. Sometimes it starts with a step up screen from the wing here in Kon Knueppel, but this one begins with a pass right ahead to Knueppel from KJ Simpson. So as we get through this, after receiving the pass, I believe he pitches it right back to KJ. The
Yeah.
quality is not the greatest here.
Yeah.
And immediately after doing that, um, pitches it, flips it, and it forces Dallas to switch here. And this is where Ryan Kalkbrenner gets involved. He sets the flare screen for Kon, and Phelps on Dallas goes under the screen and actually recovers fairly quickly for the contest here. And Kon hits the 3-point shot here. And I actually feel like he got fouled here. It wasn't called, but a tough shot making here by Kon Knueppel after pitching it, coming off the flare, catching it, and then with the contest, he still makes it. So, Brian, as we let this play loop through here, let me know what you like about this and how Kon Knueppel is pretty much an ideal player for this type of action.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely when the Hornets during the pre-draft process or certainly the night of the draft, this is something I was envisioning with Kon and LaMelo. This is an exact action we saw LaMelo and Terry Rozier run a lot in Charlotte. These pistol setups it's just great quick hitting 5-out action to get into, early in the shot clock. KJ hits ahead to Kon on the wing. Kon could always fake the handoff back to him and then dribble into the ball screen from Kalkbrenner. But if you notice, after he comes off the flare, look where Dallas's center is. So you've got Kalkbrenner setting this flare screen above the arc. You've got the drop 5, down with both feet inside the lane, near the right elbow. And so this is putting a lot of pressure on Phelps, who you noted does a really good job, actually. Like he doesn't try to cheat over the top, and shoot the gap, which might give Kon even more space. He's so good at fading those looks. He does a pretty good job closing down the space. And I do think Kon did get hit on, it was sort of like they almost like high-fived at the top of his. And if you remember, I think it was James, Matt, and I talked about this. This is sort of the shot that got Kon going in that game against Dallas too. Like he had been kind of in a rough spot to start the game, and he played excellently on offense after this. You also notice that when Kon comes off the flare, keep an eye on Tijan Salon. He's on that left, but he's going to sort of either your options are to either sort of like cut down through the lane, or you can set a little sort of almost like de facto down screen for Sims in the corner, which is what he does. I think that's just dummy action. You're just doing that to pull the guy who's guarding Tijan off the wing. So that way that weak side help defender can't stunt onto Kon and maybe make Kon sort of reconsider whether he has the catch and shoot opportunity, which would buy Phelps more time to get back to the ball. And all of a sudden Charlotte's got to then flow into the next action out of that. So well timed by Tijan to sort of get to cut down, set the down screen for Sims and to get the that weak side wing defender away from the action. And with the drop 5 in sunk into the lane, it's all on Phelps to defend Kon here, right? And so he does a decent job with that. But really just excellent job of shot making from Kon in particular. I think he does well to really maximize the separation as he sort of receives sort of like a so-so pass back
Yeah.
from Yeah, it's like a little low. It's a little, off his hip. But he catches it and then he immediately gets into his shot gather. And you see the smooth energy transfer, which is something we talked about with Kon during the pre-draft scouting process too. But he gets that off because he just goes right from a tough catch. This is a good place to freeze it. And then there's no like he doesn't like reset it. He's not thinking about it. He's just looking for the shot. He just does a nice job really getting immediately into the catch and shoot opportunity here.
That's a good point about T-John, clearing out, drifting away, going down and setting a down screen. Like you said, it probably is just for the purposes of clearing out space.
Yep.
With any action in the NBA, obviously all the pieces kind of matter, whether it's the screen, whether it's the pass, whether it's the shooter, but also the off ball action here to make sure that really the only person that should be involved here is the guy trying to fight under or over the
Yep.
screen.
Yep.
And yeah, Salon does a good job here in terms of just kind of getting out of the way there. So
Yeah.
good point there, Brian.
Sometimes you'll see like if Tijon when he's on the cut, instead of setting the down screen, if they do that little 45 degree cut, and you'll see guys they'll almost like fake like they're going to set the down screen, and then like in football like they're running a post pattern. He'll then like slant across the middle of the lane. Sometimes you can catch the weak side defender ball watching, and so sometimes you can see guys like will steal a layup off that 45-degree cut, but really it's just designed to occupy the weak side coverages and really like buy more time and space for the shooter coming off the flare screen.
All right, we're going to get into the next clip here, and really this is the only one that has McNeely instead of Kon Knueppel highlighted. And the reason we're showing this as the second clip, because you can envision obviously Kon Knueppel being in the same position as McNeely here, and it's a variation of the play that we just watched. So
Mhm.
pistol action, and we're going to load this up here as we get into it. This is the first game against Utah here,
Mhm.
and this is probably one of McNeely's best games, maybe even his best game in Vegas. And instead of KJ taking the ball up the court, we have Liam McNeely taking the ball up the court.
Mhm.
Right side of the court, just like right side of the court last time. It's the same setup, but as McNeely passes it ahead to Salon, now in this case, Salon is basically playing the Knueppel part. And in the previous possession, Knueppel pitched it back to KJ and came off the flare screen. But that's not the case here.
Mhm.
Instead, Liam kind of makes this like sidestep, and he's the one after pitching it ahead to Salon. He comes off the flare. Now, this time, as Kessler is right there, like you mentioned the previous one, Brian, Kessler's a little bit higher up on the court, and
Mhm.
Liam has got to make a play here. Okay, the shot's not available, and he's got to make something out of nothing. Clayton gets back into the picture here, and I do like how he plants hard, and is able to fade away and hit this like fading jumper right there in the lane. So, Brian, give me your thoughts on this, and obviously this is just a variation of what we just saw.
Yeah, well, first off, it's a nice like action for Charlotte to get McNeely, in movement. He has a nice job planting with the right foot and sort of like V cutting, along the perimeter away from the ball, off the flare screen from Knueppel. It's a good setup for the flare screen action because with that pass to the wing from McNeely to Salon, like the quick timing of the play, the spacing, and just sort of like the natural like inclinations of a defender, like at the point of attack, like Clayton, you know, you're often going to jump to the ball, right? There comes that weak pass. You're going to see guys that are going to like lean or sort of lunge in the direction of the ball. I think Clayton Jr. does a pretty nice job sticking with McNeely on this play. He doesn't get like sucked into Salon too much on the wing. Um and Flip doesn't get pulled too far to the wing. I think it's actually Filipowski defending this, um uh I'm blanking on the other Utah center. This is Kyle Filipowski, not
Did I say Kessler?
yeah, Walker. It's not Walker Kessler. It's
It's all
not
right. I
Walker
meant Filipowski.
Kessler.
Yeah,
No,
sorry,
all
sorry.
all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flip doesn't get pulled too far to the wing. So he's actually like in a pretty good spot, when McNeely comes off the flare. Like he's not sunk as far back as the Dallas center was in the first clip. And Clayton does a pretty nice job. He doesn't go under the screen. He actually he sort of like initially starts going under, then he routes and goes over the top. McNeely has two defenders kind of on the ball, like with Filipowski and Clayton Jr. I think on the catch, Charlotte's spacing like isn't great. Once again, you do see there's like on the last play, it was Tijon who had that little like weak side movement where he went and set a down screen for Sims in left corner. This time it's KJ Simpson who does that little 45-degree cut, cutting from the left wing, through the lane to the opposite corner. But if you freeze it, like when McNeely has the ball at the catch, like Kalkbrenner's not really pressuring the rim yet. Clayton Jr. is like still pretty much attached to him, and KJ hasn't gotten like all the way out to the corner yet. So just Utah's defense is in like a pretty good shell, honestly. Like they've got most of the shooters accounted for. They've got guys in front of the rim. But McNeely, as he comes off that flare screen, he knows that Filipowski is going to start to sink back to the paint. And so I think he just does a nice job showing his sort of like his feel for the game, his playmaking. And then we talked about this a lot in Summer League, like his comfort and physicality really showed up for the Hornets. And so I think he just does a nice job attacking the space, knowing he has a smaller defender on him. Probably maybe he gets away with a little bit of a push, but it's NBA basketball. He does a nice job with playing through the bump, initiating the bump, and creating separation to get space for what ends up being a pretty poorly contested shot in an area of the floor where there usually are very contested shots. So it's just a nice bit of shot making from McNeely off some good action and proof that like even if the initial catch and shoot three isn't there off the flare screen, you can still look to attack and get downhill off these quick hitting actions.
Yeah, I apologize for saying Kessler. I knew it was
No,
Filipowski.
yeah.
It's even on the screen right there on the bottom. Man, he had an awesome game against the Hornets in that
He
first
was
game.
so good. I mean, I know he was MVP of Summer League. You can quibble if there were maybe a few other guys who were, Mitchell from Oklahoma City was also very good, but Filipowski looked incredible out in Vegas. And yeah, he really like beat up the Hornets from like a matchup standpoint in this game too.
Walter Clayton played well in this game. Like a lot of good performances in this game. A lot of good
Yep.
performances. Yeah.
Yep. It was not a great Kon game, nor was it a great Sion game. But KJ and McNeely were both very, very good in this game. McNeely especially was pretty terrific, and this was just a great shot. And hopefully like a sign of sort of like things to come for him. Like if he can be a guy that can really like develop as an off-ball mover for Charlotte, that's a big piece for a guy with his size too in passing feel.
Yeah, and considering his ankle injuries and stuff like that, he plants hard twice on the same possession in terms of the initial cut off the flare and then just off the dribble here with Clayton Jr. right there guarding him as he fades away. So hopefully those ankles hold up here, and we're gonna transition to clip number 3. This was against OKC, so we're kind of showing a little bit of all the teams here. They are up double digits, but the Thunder are actually on a 10-0 run at this point. So the Hornets are definitely in need of a basket here late in the half. I know they're up 47-33, but as you can see on the screen, 10-0 run by the Thunder. This is a little bit later in the shot clock, trying to get a last-ditch effort to get a bucket. It's kind of a Horns alignment here. Knueppel, typically you see Horns with two guys in the corners. Knueppel's a little bit higher up here. As he goes to set the screen, he basically ghosts it, slips it, and he actually runs into KJ's man, which
Yep.
actually helps a little bit OKC here in terms of just kind of slowing him down on the switch here. But Kalkbrenner, again, we talk about flare screens. He sets him free on this flare screen. And after that pass from Simpson, Brooks Barnhizer, which was Ryan's man, jumps out to defend Knueppel and doesn't give him a lot of space to get off a shot. So now Knueppel, as we have it paused here on the right wing, like McNeely in the previous clip, has to make something happen here late in the shot clock. And he takes a couple of dribbles towards the baseline there. And basically, it's just a very skilled play here, a step back three from Kon Knueppel. So going in, setting that screen, but really ghosting it, slipping it out to the wing, and realizing, okay, I've got a big man on me. Let me try to fake hard going to the rim, step, plant, step back, and hit the three. So it does seem like some of the tougher shots that Kon made were very impressive, whether it was a baseline, jump shot. I don't know if it was in this game, but he made a baseline jump shot from the right baseline over there. And but some of the easier ones he missed. But he's always looking for his shot, getting off good shots. But again, using him in off ball screens, using him in ghosts, all these things going to be very beneficial for Kon. I've got a couple more notes here, Brian, but I'll let you share your thoughts on this play before
Yeah.
halftime.
Yeah, a couple of things here. I've long referred to this as Charlotte's Horns flare action. This is something they ran under James Borrego a lot. This is something they ran under Steve Clifford. This is something they run under Charles Lee. This is during basketball season. You can flip on uh, a WNBA game, an NBA game, a college game, and you're going to see people running this set. I mean, it's really designed to get the wing in Kon's position coming off of a flare screen. The Hornets ran this a lot, probably like 7 or 8 times in summer league, usually for Salon. And Salon got a catch and shoot three, a couple of catch and shoot threes or catch and go drives off this action where he'd be the one setting that ghost screen and then coming off of the flare. This time they've got Kon kind of in the playmaking role here, and they've got the four, which in this case I guess is Sims. He's spaced to the right corner. So a basic set and a pretty ubiquitous one, but certainly an effective one. Um, and I think one of the things that sort of stands out for me here is that you'll notice Oklahoma City is cross matching at the 4 and 5 at this point of the possession. Like you've got Brooks Barnheiser, who's a 6'5" rookie wing out of Northwestern. He's on the 7'1" Ryan Kalkbrenner. And in the right corner, you've got Brandon Carlson, the 7-footer out of Utah, on Jalen Sims. And so with Barnheiser at the, is the de facto 4, basically, he's able to switch these actions, right? And so like we saw off the pistol flare action on the first play against Dallas, how far the center was dropped into the paint. And then we saw on the second play against Utah, Filipowski was further up the floor and was sort of able to meet McNeely more on the catch. Well, this time Brooks Barnheiser is basically in Kon's chest off the catch. And so that switch takes away the sort of like initial open catch and shoot 3-point opportunity for Kon. And then you just see his talent take over. Like this is a super compact, inefficient use of his dribble and space creation from Kon, and like really encouraging to see. I said this multiple times during summer league, but like I had my eye on Kon from a like pull up 3-point shooting and step back shooting perspective. Just like what will we see from him? This was one of my favorite shots from Kon and favorite actions for him in summer league, and certainly something that I can imagine we'll see the Hornets get with him this season. Like it's pretty easy to see Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges spaced in the corners, and then LaMelo Ball handling up top, Kon Knueppel, in that sort of like left slot area, and then whomever's playing the 5, Kalkbrenner, Diabate, Plumlee, whomever, setting the flare screen for Kon to come off to. Like you're going to see this during the season. I feel pretty confident in that. And then just again, no wasted motion from Kon on the catch, unlike the step back 3-point opportunity. Similar in a way to the initial catch and shoot 3 we watched him hit in the Dallas game of a few minutes ago. Just him transferring right from the catch into the shot on that one. This one going from catch, drive, play off that, step back. Just super efficient shot making there from Kon, and certainly a good action to counter some of the coverages you see from Oklahoma City with them kind of cross matching at the 4 and 5.
Yeah, tough shot. I mean, he was fully contested even with the step back. He created some space, but still had to shoot it over the outstretched arms there. Uh, Two other notes that I wanted to make a note of here, and maybe I'm being nitpicky, but I thought that, and maybe it wouldn't have made the biggest of differences because as you're alluding to, it's not the center that is coming out, but I feel like the pass from KJ could come out a little bit quicker.
Yes, agreed. He definitely like if he throws it now and sort of like throws him into space, there's probably a chance he's able to get a catch and shoot, or a better chance. I agree. There's like a half second hesitation from Simpson.
Yeah. That's one thing that I noted, and I don't know if this was intentional or subtle, but I thought when Kon was coming off this flare screen, he did a kind of a subtle job of pushing KJ's man into the screen, and maybe I'm just kind of, reading into it too much, but it seems like he kind of used his forearm a little bit to kind of guide him right
Mhm.
into Kalkbrenner. So subtle stuff like that, like the craftiness from Kon Knueppel, is definitely something that we've seen on a nightly basis.
That second point is a really like, he is a very skilled off-ball mover. We've talked about it a lot. It's not just the fact that he's a great catch and shoot guy, and it's not just that he has, good footwork coming off screens. He certainly does. But he has a lot of good tricks to set defenders up and create separation too. That's a big piece of his game. And I just think you see his sort of like craftiness and guile like on display, in multiple, within the span of just a couple of seconds, but in multiple instances on this possession.
All right, we're gonna get over to the final clip here, and I think it's another opponent tied at 11 against the San Antonio Spurs here, and KJ Simpson is handling the ball with Kon and Kalkbrenner in the middle of the court. Looks like horns. Stack is what you refer to it as,
Mhm.
and a lot of times you'll see Kalkbrenner or the big set a screen for Kon in this case, but he just slips it out to the wing. And immediately following the pass, KJ and Ryan set up for this double drag action here. And as you see it set up, you've also got MJ Walker, who's running baseline from right to left. So a lot
Mhm.
going on here. A lot of the bodies are on the left side of the screen as Kon is coming off both of these screens. Now, as I'm pausing it here, a lot of action, like I said, over on the left side. We do have Kon coming off. He's very patient with what he wants to do here, and we've seen this on multiple occasions in Vegas. He can technically hit KJ, who's open on the wing there. That can be an option. He can hit the skip pass to Walker in the corner. He can drive. He can hit the floater. He can try to draw the foul. But because the low man here doesn't fully commit to Kalkbrenner, he hits Kalkbrenner on the lob
Mhm.
there and basically turns a potential floater into a shot. So here it is starting up again with the double drag action here as he's getting off this second screen and hits that lob to Ryan Kalkbrenner. So Brian, walk us through this play and what you like about it.
Yeah, a lot to like here. And the Hornets ran this, I think, twice for Con in summer league. But they start with that little stack look. I mean, it looks a lot like horns, but I usually differentiate these things, whether it's semantics or not. If the guys are sort of like starting on top of one another, or if there's like a little brush screen to pop one out to the wing, and just sort of like being. This is more so in the college game, but I've just seen a lot of teams referring to this as stack from over the last couple of years. So I just sort of have adopted that a little bit more in my own sort of like verbiage when it comes to these things. But you'll see Kalkbrenner, kind of sets a little brush screen or tries to. He's like a little slow and late on setting the little brush screen on 55. Harrison Ingram, former UNC forward, who's guarding Kon as Kon pops to the left wing, and I referred to this as stack 77 small because 77, you're talking about the staggered ball screens here, or the double drag action, whatever you want to refer to it as. But 77 standing for the 1-2 ball screens here from Simpson and Kalkbrenner, and I just refer to this as 77 small because you've got KJ Simpson, the smallest guy in the court. He's the one setting the ball screen, and Wake Forest in the ACC with men's basketball runs a play very similar to this, where it's the same thing. It's a stack formation. One of the wings pops out to the left wing, and they set up for the 77 action. Although the only thing they do differently, Wake does, is they flip the order of the screens. So like the one will pass to the two, popping to the wing. The five will lift up and set the first screen, and then the one will set the second screen. And just a couple of years ago, when I was covering a Wake Duke game in Cameron Indoor Stadium, I saw Wake refer to this as small 77. So in my own sort of labeling process, I just swiped that title and have used it here for the Hornets. It's pretty classic. Like once you get to the 77 look, it's pretty classic action. Like the smaller guy, the better shooter is gonna pop out. I like keep it frozen here though, because the second screener, the 5, they're going to be the one that's going to like set the screen and dive to the paint. Kalkbrenner, and I talked about this during summer league on this with regards to this exact play. He sets an excellent screen here. I think it's on Dexter Dennis from San Antonio, and he just does a nice job creating contact and setting a like good wide legal screen. And when Kon dribbles off the screen, when he exits the screen, you've got the defensive 5 dropped well below the level of the screen. But when Kon comes off, the defender in rear view pursuit is so far behind him. The center kind of doesn't the defensive center for San Antonio gets caught between drop coverage or wow, this guy's so open. Should I switch up to him? And so he kind of gets caught off of his line and gets kind of caught in between coverages. And one of my favorite things here, and I like where you have it frozen, because Harrison Ingram or whomever, pardon me, it's actually they've switched off, so it's a different defender on. I think it's Dexter Dennis now. He's behind Kon, and I wrote about this a few times during the season last year when Kon was at Duke. But Kon is so good in these 2-on-1 scenarios because he's not even worried about Dexter Dennis, the on-ball defender now. Like all he's doing, he's reading the center and he's waiting for his 5 to roll and get downhill. We saw this a lot with Kon Knueppel at Duke. Now in summer league, you saw it with Ryan Kalkbrenner. Harrison Ingram does a pretty poor job, like bumping. Like he's sort of, you can see him in this where Richie has it paused, like he's kind of tagging Kalkbrenner, but not really. Like no one right now is between Kalkbrenner in the rim, and Kon has the 5 pulled up onto him. So for him, the read is pretty simple now. Like he's definitely going to, throw it to the rim and let Kalkbrenner come and get it. But Kon's so good at forcing the defensive center to make a decision there. He's really, he will hold it longer than I think a lot of guys his sort of age are comfortable with. And this is something I remember talking with John Shire, Duke's coach, after a game last season. I think it was when they played Stanford, who had Maxime Reynaud, who was playing is on the Kings roster now. Stanford played this like deep drop coverage too, and Kon beat him up in that game. And basically, like Shire said, at Duke, they're going to coach their ball handlers in those 2-on-1s against drop coverage to make the decision as late as possible. Like that's what they're trying. And I think Kon is sort of like naturally good at it, but the hope is to sort of like make the 5 commit to you or commit to the roller and be comfortable driving it, maybe a dribble or a step further into the paint than maybe you think you should. And if the 5 stays a little too close to the roll man, then you can go up and try to finish it yourself. If the 5 commits to you, then it's a lob to the rim and throw it up. So good stuff from good action, I should say. Great screen from Kalkbrenner. Really nice, bit of manipulation from Kon, and just excellent, timing and pass location, all of that stuff too.
Yeah, I just wanted to share some final thoughts regarding Kon, the summer league, and these specific sets. He definitely hit some tough shots in these clips, and he hit some tough shots in summer league. But I think we wanted to show these also to kind of highlight his ability to read and navigate screens on offense, to kind of show his craftiness in terms of setting up his man. I think he does a good job of changing speeds in and out of a break, and he's very patient in the pick and roll game as well, kind of like what you were speaking to. He
Mm-hmm.
does lack athleticism, but he uses craft to kind of make up for that and does all the little things that's going to take him a long way in this league. So you can combine that with all that craft with his shooting, and he really becomes a well-rounded offensive player. Brian, final thoughts, biggest takeaway from these clips, biggest takeaway from summer league, and how is, whether it's his game at Duke or game here, kind of projects and maximizing his talent on the next level.
I mean, I think this is something we just talked about. We've been talking about for 2-3 months now on the pod, like since sort of like scouting Kon and talking about him. Like he is a very self-aware player. He knows he's slower. Like he's not trying to like, win battles along the perimeter with his burst. You know what I mean? Like he's very sharp and precise with his movements. He uses his strength to his advantage. He uses a very quick shot and a very like good and excellent shot of his to sort of like leverage and play off of. And then you can just see all the different ways that this guy can be used in. I mean, there's parts, gravity bending movement shooter who can also pass. So there's some Brandon Miller components. There's his strength, and you can use him to get switches and attack mismatches. There's some Gordon Hayward components to his game. Very diverse set of skills on offense, and just his combination of dribble, pass, shoot, and high feel is very, very good. And there's a lot of ways you can involve this in the offense. And I think this is sort of why when we were having some of the more like philosophical conversations about Kon and sort of like how he projects going forward, what his upside is, all of those sorts of things. It's like, even if Kon ends up being sort of like a sub all-star player, like let's just say he's not Klay Thompson part two with some dribble drive game, like this is still a guy that can be a very efficient, higher usage player who gives you shooting at multiple levels, who gives you passing, and just makes life easier for everyone else in the half court because of those combinations of skills. And that's a very, very useful player in any setup. So just the malleability, the shooting, the passing, the feel, and his ability to be used in all different kinds of actions as a guy who's either setting screens or coming off screens is very, very powerful. So excited to see what this looks like when you put Kon around the LaMelo Ball types, the Brandon Miller types, and the Trey Mann types, and just sort of like what those actions could look like. And I'm also fascinated to know what this stuff looks like against um summer league defenders. Some of them are very good players like Carter Bryant, who Kon played well against, but I'll be curious to see what he looks like against like full-time NBA defenders like that size and length too. Like that's certainly like going to be another hurdle for him to try to clear in a couple of months.
Yeah, and we'll try to do more of these film findings throughout the season as they are playing against NBA competition. In Summer League, you're playing with players that are not on the real roster, or at least, most of them are not on the real roster. You're playing against competition that is not NBA, I wouldn't say NBA level, but it's definitely not, your typical NBA teams. But we'll look into this more, but a lot of positive, promising signs here from Kon Knueppel in Vegas. And we're going to go ahead and wrap. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to another video here. Leave us a comment on our Substack and let us know how we did. And if you guys have any suggestions moving forward about how you want us to do this with the video film binding. So for Brian, I'm Richie. Take care. Go Hornets.